Hello everyone, my name is Dark Hero and welcome back to Monster Hunter Wilds. I've been testing out every single weapon, and after putting around 50 hours into this demo alone, I decided to make this video where I will show you guys what I believe to be the best 5 weapons for you to try out, whether you are a veteran of the series like myself or a newcomer trying Monster Hunter for the first time. My 5 picks are going to be something that I believe is going to be ideal for someone that is wanting to pick up a new weapon, or are generally weapons that you can pick up and use very easily and allow you to have more fun with the game as you understand the different systems. So with that being said, let's get started. And the first weapon that I'm going to recommend for you guys is going to be the Sword and Shield. The Sword and Shield is a very beginner friendly weapon as it now offers plenty of mobility, the ability to block with a shield, and also allows you to use consumable items without sheathing your weapon. But that's not all that the Sword and Shield can offer, as I do believe that it is one of the most advanced weapons in the game to actually master. So by picking the Sword and Shield, you have a weapon that is very easy to pick up and use, but has a lot of room for improvement, and thus you won't get as bored as easily with this weapon. So with the Sword and Shield, you have plenty of ways to approach each monster. You can try to get in very quickly by doing this new attack that is the sliding swipe that covers a lot of distance, and then you can maintain close to the monster by using this brand new move, these diagonal side slashes that allow you to stay close to the monster very easily. You've then got these sword combos that allow you to get a lot of damage very quickly, and again you can use them to get off the way and also close the gap with this new charged chop to deal extra damage to wounded parts, as it hits multiple times. You've also got the shield attacks that allow you to stun a monster by hitting them in the face, allowing you to KO monsters and thus having a bigger window of opportunity to deal damage, and it's especially useful if you're playing in multiplayer, as everyone will get a chance to deal a lot more damage. Not to mention that again, while you are attacking, you can just very easily press R2, and as you can see, you can get the shield out very quickly to block any incoming attacks. And then of course, one of the coolest thing about the Sword and Shield is that you have iframes on your back hop that you can use for multiple things. For example, you can dodge, charge this attack, and then go into a falling bash with the shield to deal tons of KO damage. You can do a similar thing but go into the plunging thrust, which hits multiple times. And you can even go into the jumping slash. And alternatively, you can even do something a little bit more complicated where you back hop like this and then are able to turn the direction in which you are attacking. So let's do that one more time, allowing you to have very precise and accurate movements as long as you are using the new focus mode. And of course, one of the coolest aspects of the Sword and Shield is the perfect rush, where you perfectly time all of your inputs while doing this 3-button attack, and if you do so, you're going to be rewarded with a lunge that allows you to do all of those attacks that I showed you before. The Sword and Shield is a very mobile weapon that I found to be very powerful in this game, especially because it allows you to wound the monster very easily by precisely targeting monster parts, including even the back of the monster, since you can very easily get into the air. And speaking of which, the Sword and Shield happens to be one of the very best weapons to mount a monster in the game. I actually found it to be easier to mount monsters with the Sword and Shield rather than the insect glaive. And another unique thing about the Sword and Shield is that it is one of 3 weapons that is able to use their focus strike, the special move that you can only perform while you are in focus mode to consume a wound while you are in the air, the other 2 weapons being the greatsword and the insect glaive. And honestly, some of the best times that I had hunting a raid DAO have been with the Sword and Shield, just because of how fast of a weapon it is and how it allows you to abuse a monster if you are playing this weapon correctly. So even though the game might tell you that this is a beginner weapon, which indeed it is a beginner friendly weapon, the SNS has a lot of sauce to it that allows it to be a very fun weapon while also being stylish and dealing a lot of damage. Now the next weapon that I would recommend everyone to try out is going to be the hammer. Now the hammer is the KO king of Monster Hunter. It's all about getting up in the monster's face, charging up a big swing and dealing tons of damage. And even though this is a weapon that is all about charging the attacks, the hammer actually has a lot of mobility that you might not expect. So when you are out with your hammer, you're able to hold the right trigger button to hold the charge attack. And while you are charging, you're always free to use, as long as you have enough stamina, press the circle button or right click while charging, and that is going to allow you to do this dash that is still going to increase your charge on the hammer, so you will be able to dodge an incoming attack while still retaining your charge level and then follow up with a huge attack of your own. And that's really all that hammer is about, trying to target the monster's face while they're down to deal a ton of damage with a combo like the Big Bang combo, where you can't really move, or perhaps you may want to focus on a singular strike to deal tons of damage, for which we have the new Mighty Charge, where you have this big swing animation and when you're close to the monster you can release it and deal tons of damage. After which you can follow this up with the Spinning Bludgeon, which again is a move that allows you to deal tons of damage while still moving, and if you press the triangle button at the right time you're going to get that upswing to deal even more damage. The hammer is by far one of the simplest weapons in the entire game, and as such it's a weapon that I always recommend to newcomers to the series. And even if you are a veteran that has never tried the hammer, I would highly encourage every single one of you to give it a try in Wilds, because it is a lot of fun, has a lot of mobility, and you can even parry incoming attacks if you use an upswing as the monster is about to hit you, which will leave them vulnerable on the ground for you to deal damage. And trust me, everybody loves to have a hammer user on the team that is going to keep on KOing the monster and making things easier for everyone else. Now the next weapon I want to talk to you about is going to be the dual blades. And man oh man, do I love the dual blades in Monster Hunter Wilds. They're really a lot of fun, as this agile pair of weapons allows you to hit the monster multiple times with ease while still remaining very mobile, and especially in Wilds where you're able to get a perfect dodge and get a buff while doing so that allows you to deal more damage and temporarily makes it so that your own dodges deal damage as well, while if you're looking for a weapon that is going to attack the monster a ton of times, then this is the weapon for you. The only thing you need to worry about with the dual blades is that for one, when you are in demon mode you actually consume stamina, so doing these moves that allow you to be more agile and also build up your own demon gauge are going to consume your stamina, so you need to keep an eye on it. However, when you enter archdemon mode, that is to say that when you fill your demon gauge, you'll be able to gain access to most of the benefits of the weapon even without spending any stamina, and you can do these very flashy flurry attacks. And now one of the biggest additions in Monster Hunter Wilds is that you can actually get in and out of demon mode in the middle of your powerful blade dance combo. So for example, if I perform it right here, I can go into Demon Flurry, get out of demon mode and get back into it, and you can keep going like this, doing essentially the same combo twice in the two different modes, dealing a ton of damage that way. And what this does allow you to do is also be a lot more mobile, as you can turn into this combo, dash around all over the place and then continue the combo from where you left it, provided that you still have enough demon gauge. And then you have the focus strike, which is the attack where you leap onto the monster and start spinning on its back, which deals a ton of damage and is by far one of the most satisfying attacks in the entire game. Dual blades have never felt better in my opinion, as they're really a lot of fun and allow you to be very aggressive all the while still being very safe, because you have these perfect dodges that also allow you to become more powerful, and the only thing that you really need to pay attention to is your own stamina management. But thankfully they've even made it easier now with the dual blades, because when you get hit while you are in demon mode, you are actually knocked out of demon mode, so you're not going to be spending stamina while you are down on the floor. So it is by far one of the safest and most fun weapons in Monster Hunter Wilds, and given how dual blades have performed in the last few games, they are likely going to be very powerful weapons in this game as well. So if you have not tried dual blades in Monster Hunter Wilds, definitely give them a shot. Now my next recommendation is going to be a bit of a sleeper pick for some of you, and that is the light bowgun. Now the light bowgun is actually a lot more fun than it ever was in my opinion, as it's now a lot easier for you to manage your bullets. A lot of them are infinite actually, and you now have this energy meter that you can easily get in and out of by simply tapping circle or the right click button. And as you can see right here, the hunter attaches this extra magazine to the weapon, and when she does so, I'm now able to essentially just fire in rapid mode. You still of course have the landmines that you're able to put in the floor to deal extra damage, but the thing about the light bowgun is that it is essentially just a weapon that allows you to be very safe while dealing damage from a distance, and is very simple to pick up and use. So if you're ever in doubt and need a new weapon to pick up against another monster, this is definitely going to be the weapon for you, especially since you can just dash and still keep shooting while doing so. And you're going to gain access to a variety of different ammo types, so depending on the situation that you're in, you're always going to have a perfect tool for the job. So whether it is putting a monster to sleep or paralyzing it, or just focusing on a different part of the monster like the wings for example, the light bowgun is going to be by far one of the easiest weapons to do so. And because it is such a light weapon that you can very easily just sheath or unsheath, not to mention that you have the ability to sidestep and even dash away while using the light bowgun and still shoot at the same time, again it's just a very safe and reliable weapon that just about anyone is going to be able to pick up and use, with the only downside in my opinion being that it is a rather not very fun weapon in my opinion, but that is just up to personal preference. Now the final weapon that I would recommend everyone to try out, which I'm certain many of you have already used it, is going to be the longsword. And boy oh boy, longsword is just absolutely amazing in Monster Hunter Wilds. The developers have definitely cooked with this weapon, as not only do you have a far reach, which means that you're able to very easily hit the monster, and while you do so you're able to level up your spirit gauge to deal additional damage, but you can actually just maintain the spirit combo while using different attacks in the middle. So for one, the developers have now made it easier than ever to level up the spirit gauge, so as you can see I'm going to do triangle into a fade slash, and I'm already able to level up my spirit gauge by doing the full combo, like so. But another very cool thing about the longsword is that now the spirit blade combo can now be used into any direction. So for example, I can do it to the side, I can do it front, I can even do it backwards like so, and you have a lot more mobility with this weapon. But of course, when you get to the red gauge, this is where all of the fun begins, because as you saw right there, you don't actually need to sheath your weapon while doing the spirit blade combo. You now have these different attacks that allow you to be much more mobile, and now your regular attacks get also changed into the Crimson Slash. And the amount of things that you can do with this weapon are absolutely diabolical. And that is of course on top of these 4-side slash that allows you to evade an incoming attack, while also leveling up your spirit gauge, as well as your special sheath that is also another counter that you can use, that allows you to perform a follow-up that if you time it right, does not consume any of your spirit gauge and just deals a ton of damage, and then you can follow up with the ever amazing Helm Breaker, like so. That now has this follow-up that counts as a ranged projectile, meaning that if the monster moves away from you while you do this, they're actually going to get hit. And this move now is armored, so you can do it through roars as well. And as you saw right there, you can actually sheath while performing this. So you are totally safe when doing this, and as such, longsword really is one of the most fun and versatile weapons for you to use in the game. Now the thing about the longsword is that while it is a weapon that is easy to pick up and use for just about everyone because it has a lot of reach, it can deal a lot of damage, and the combos are very simple, the weapon does have a very high skill ceiling because you can counter every single monster attack. So if you are a newcomer to the series that is wanting to pick up the longsword, just know that you're going to need to learn the timings of the monster attacks, know when it's best to go for each of the different counters and when it's best to actually not use them, because there is a lot to take in when it comes to mastering the longsword. But these are my 5 recommendations for people to try out different weapons in Monster Hunter Wilds, whether you are a veteran of the series or a newcomer trying the game for the first time. I've been seeing a lot of comments under my videos stating that people have been playing the demo and it's their first experience with Monster Hunter, and with this video I wanted to help them out while still giving some recommendations for people to try out different weapons. I really believe that the developers have done a fantastic job with all of the weapons, and I will be ranking them in a tier list in a different video, so if you want to see that, please let me know in the comment section. But with that being said, let me know which weapons you guys have been using in the Monster Hunter Wilds demo, and which weapon has surprised you the most. For me, it's definitely gotta be the dual blades and the insect glaive. With that being said, my name is Dark Hero, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, happy hunting!